Thank you so much for tuning in to She's All Over the Place with Kiriaki. That's me.
Here we are together. Welcome to She's All Over the Place. Season 4, we are focused on women empowerment, exploring divine femininity in all genders, the blockchain, and NFTs. I am so excited, seriously. Before Season 4 started, while we were in Season 3, I already knew I was setting the intention, what is Season 4 going to be about? I thought, women empowerment. Although I identify as she, her, I also identify as they, them. Ever since I was young, I felt like I was a tomboy, quote unquote. I felt like I was supposed to be a boy. My mom and dad had my sister, all gravy, and then I always came up with this belief, this script when I was younger that my parents wanted me to be a boy. They never said that to me. I just assumed it and made it up in my own head. But haha, we do things like that, don't we? So anyhow, I've always really identified, I don't want to say a male, but very masculine in ways. And I know, in all genders, we have the divine feminine and the masculine. I just want to share some of my stories of my upbringing and being more vulnerable. And, one thing, when I was younger, I always knew I wanted to have, God willing, if it was meant to be for me, children later on in life. And, I felt like from the collective intelligence of what I picked up when I was a child and wanting to have a career first, I felt like even then it was a man's world. And I looked to men for mentors, and I look for men outside of myself to be able to financially support my career and financially support to believe in my dreams, because I knew my path of wanting to do amazing things and with a heartfelt compassion for humanity and taking action. And I researched and I invested in myself in so many ways. I preserved myself. I took care of myself, self-care, putting myself first, traveling the world. And I put myself first in a lot of ways. When it came to, modeling comp cards, DJ music school, getting a turntable, acting classes, coaches, voiceover coaches, I always paid the money and invested in those things, headshots and what have you, my website, etc. But when it came to capital, as if, having a business plan and, having hundreds of thousands of dollars or even $30,000 or $50,000, I, didn't put that capital up for myself. And I decided that for some reason, from, like I said, the collective conscious that I picked up when I was a child, that I looked for men to do that for me. And so I was out there as like a hustler producer, always trying to want to, make this happen. So anyway, that's like a whole nother conversation we can have in another podcast. But to stay on key here, I made the choice after a lot of trial and errors and going nonstop to take that capital and invest in myself. The saying, we're only as strong as our weakest link. Well, I guess you could say that could have been one of my weakest links. And I know a lot of people, humans and artists, have, frustrations in doing that, investing themselves, putting themselves first, doing everything for everyone else, but them forgetting about ourselves and not doing it for us, but doing it for another. I think we can all identify in some realm, right? When things really slowed down at the end of 2020, I did a lot of deep self-reflection, and I made the choice to invest in my own self in that way because I had the space and the time to reflect and the courage of something that I really wanted to do. Everything started taking a life of its own. Everything started leaving the train station. So I was an oak tree, and then all these branches that I had in so many different areas just took a life of their own. And I saw how selfish I was being. And I saw, I was keeping it all for myself. And I saw, I had some trust issues going on. I would be very personable with people, but I saw when it came to my domain, I would be very protective and isolated even within my own self. And I was cutting myself off for myself. And how could I be giving other people a chance if I wasn't even giving myself a chance? So this was a big turnkey for me. I'm excited to be here and be vulnerable with you and share things that I've never shared before through courage, through grace, and through transformation to maybe you hear my voice voice and you connect in some way. It doesn't have to be identical. The principle can apply to, many platforms, but, maybe you'll reach out to me and want to hear more on the subject, or we connect one-on-one, or it just inspires you to shapeshift and, start messy and start taking action in your own life. That's why I'm here. That's why I show up. 9 years ago, I wanted to start my podcast and I didn't know how to get on the train tracks, but I'm here now and I gift you over 2 decades of my experience in entertainment, in Hollywood, and my travels and experiences around the world with food and culture and people and networking and all the creative ventures I wanted to be a part of. So there's no right or wrong. Everyone has their own journey. Everyone has their own path. I'm just here to pay it forward and to hold your hand so we can do it together. So what took me 10 years could take you 10 months. What took me 10 years could take you 10 days. Hey, what took me like 10 years could literally take you maybe a day, So I think by communicating, and all the podcasters out there who are, showing up and having podcasts and communicating, it's definitely therapeutic, I've heard, in the community. Speaking of the community, I just want to give a shout out to all my fellow podcasters. When you go to the search button in podcasts and you type in my name, Katie Chonacas, you'll see so many podcasts pop up. So I encourage you to check out all those podcasts, have a listen, and then listen to more of their episodes. I connected with so many cool people, and so I've been on so many podcasts now in England, Australia, Philippines, Utah, and so many cool places. And I've connected with really like-minded individuals. And, she's all over the place. It's about being all over the place. And I travel the world. And now through podcasting, I can connect with people all around the world. And now they're in my phone. It's so cool because when I go to Australia or when I go to London, we can have meetups. And I'm like, yo, when you're in Los Angeles or New York, look me up. I can host you and pave the way. So it's a great, great community. I have a whole bunch of more podcasts that I'm on coming up in 2022. So I'm really excited for you to listen to more and discover new podcasts through typing in my name, Katie Chonacas, and then, seeing all the other podcasts that are out there. A lot of the topics are on acting and being an entrepreneur and getting over obstacles and hacks and inspiration and spirituality. So similar topics to my podcast. I would love to reset the tone here and just take a deep, deep breath. The deepest breath you've taken all day. We inhale purity and we exhale toxicity. I remember to remember every day to take the deepest breath I've taken all day. Let's do it together. Our shaman Harry Paul, he's in Los Angeles. He's from New Mexico. If you Google shaman Harry Paul, he's amazing. He was on a dope podcast with Luke Story, if you want to look it up. But yeah, he's the one that taught me that a few years ago. So I love it. It's so good. It gets us into our body, the intelligence of our body and out of our mind from being so overworked and overthinking. So even if you're having a good day or if you're really busy and people take time to meditate for 15, 20 minutes, sometimes we have that, which is super important. And then sometimes, we just need to take a deep breath. So that's a little gem for you. And the next thing I would like to honor is gratitude and honor you for being here. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful. I was on a podcast the other day, Passion Struck, and I was talking to John Miles, and I was telling him how many followers I had, and he's like, what? And he's had over 200,000 downloads. We're not there yet, but we're going to get there this year in 2022 for sure. We're about 30,000 downloads right now. I told him how many people follow my podcast, and he's like, what? And he's like, I have 2. And I'm like, oh, really? So hey, thank you for being here. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for being here and showing up for me. And I'm here showing up for you. It's what I've always wanted to do. So I'm so excited to do it. Yeah, it means a lot. Please write a review. Totally do that. Also, befriend me on Instagram. My Instagram is Chonacas. So definitely DM me, say what's up. If there's anything you want me to mention on the podcast, let me know. I'm here for you. I'm in deep gratitude, and, I honor you and wish for you to make a commitment with yourself to, say at least one, gratitude a day. So if not more, it's really important. Right now, what's something you're grateful for? There you go. Me, it's health. Health is wealth. Health is the number one wealth. And breathing, just breathing is so miraculous. It's such an honor and such a gift. It's so wild how connected and disconnected from the breath that we are. Just kind of some gentle awarenesses that come to my heart and soul right now. All right, so diving in, I'm super excited for 2022. It's 222. Yeah, Google 222. Let's see what that means. Googling 222. Cool. 222. Good things come to those who strive for good things. In this sense, the number 222 is a sign of good things to come. Again, the number 222 can be seen as a reminder that you are on the right path and doing the right things in life. This number is also a sign of positivity. Good luck and joy. Awesome. Not sure if you're into numbers. My birthday's 11/11. I naturally am. But yeah, if you want to Google and search more on that, please do. Cool. I'm really excited. I have some drops coming up at the end of the month. We'll be here every Tuesday for you. Some episodes are pre-recorded, just so you know. I was traveling, and so just forgive me if, some of the audio is left or right. Right now, I'm stationary in my studio on my beautiful Shure SM7B, so the quality is banging. But yeah, some episodes are pre-recorded, and I was en route, but I did my best. Oh, speaking of my birthday, on 11/11, I released my debut solo album, Dreamland 11/11. As a birthday gift to myself, I'm like, what do I want to do this year? Last year, I released my first poetry book, A Lover's Fairytale. In the show notes, pick it up, Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, everywhere. It went over so well. It just grew within me from my internal core, from going inside. It was just so amazing and beautiful, and what a great gift to give self, right? And so I'm like, I have all these beats here. I'm like, how about I release it, right? So I love dubstep. I love future trap. I just love EDM music. So I was going to release an EP under TSP, under the Sophisticated Psychos. I just kind of was going on the journey. Nicky Scorpio's doing his solo project under Nicky Scorpio, and I'm like, hey, why don't I just do my EDM beats under, my birth name, Kyriaki, who is a saint, Saint Kyriaki. I'm named after my yaya, my grandmother, my best friend. She's 92, growing strong, thank goodness. Also, Kyriaki means Sunday in Greek. Simera Danina Kyriaki. Today's not Sunday, unless you're listening to this on a Sunday. And Simera Ine Kyriaki. Today is Sunday, if you are listening to this on a Sunday. The EP turned into a full album, 11 songs. I ended up, going on this exploration of reclaiming my power, right? And I know how powerful I am. Like, I've always known, and I've always had this deep knowing, and I've gone on my path. But then, through traveling and meeting people, and as we get older, and the swish swash and things that happen, and I was like, yo, and I'm like, what is going on? I made this specifically for people to claim their power and to reclaim one's power, right? Through divine femininity. It's really apropos. This podcast is focused on women empowerment and exploring divine femininity in all genders. I feel, I've been very go a lot of times, really there for other people, and really off balance with being able to receive in certain ways. So I'm able to, yes, receive in certain ways. There's also ways, maybe we will discuss them through the podcast, of ways I wasn't able to receive, where I was blocked, so we all have these things that come up. I really wanted to focus on this because it keeps coming up for me, and I've always had interpersonal challenges with other humans out there, as a child, and it doesn't feel good. And of how catty some people can be, and how people aren't so open and so giving in such a way, right? And sometimes people are giving and they overgive, and then they have resentment afterwards, or they don't know how to assert themselves, and the boundaries get very blurry. So these are topics I definitely want to talk about in the season as well. So at the end of this episode, I'm definitely going to play a song or two for you. So out of the 11 songs, 7 of them are instrumental. 4 of them have my vocals on it, right? Doing spoken word poetry. I'm a poet, spoken word poetry, laying down audio to the instrumentals, but some people who like EDM just like instrumentals. So I gave both options. I love having options. Collins. Yeah, so that's the vibe. I hope you tune in. It's streaming everywhere. We have 2 music videos on my YouTube, Katie Chonacas. Also, shout out to Andrea. He's an NFT artist. He's a photographer, super awesome. He lives in Venice. He offered to host my birthday party on 11/11, and it was really dope. It was amazing. It was at NFT Gallery in Venice on Abbot Kinney. We did a drop on the blockchain on OpenSea, and then in December, I went to Art Basel and I met this NFT artist, curator, and collector, Blake Jameson. He is so cool. Blake Jameson, you have to look him up. His work is so amazing. Blake goes by athlete.portraits on Instagram. So he paints and he does these portraits of athletes. Definitely, it's really, really cool work. He's based in New York City. So I went to one of his events at Art Basel. It was at the Sagamore Hotel on Collins. And we met and we vibed. And he's like, yeah, I want to support living artists. And he's like, I can just tell. I'm like, before he even listened to it, he's like, I can just tell. He bought 2 of my NFTs. So I was on a Twitter Spaces the other day and there was this room and they were saying that there's only about 500 wallets for people who are into music NFTs or people who are, into the space of music for NFTs, regardless of the number, if it's 500. I was like, whoa, I mean, is that true? And I don't have the calculations on that. But still, I mean, to be on the forefront of NFTs and be in music, and not only be like in music and NFTs, and there's just such a small amount of people who are involved in the music NFTs right now, and to be an artist with my artwork sold, like my music. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised, right? No, you shouldn't be surprised. Like, that should just be so normal, right? And I saw something today, and who was it that posted it? Maybe it was Gabe Weiss. I'm not sure. Or maybe it was JR. I'm not sure. I would have to look. But someone said on Twitter when I was like going through my feed, they said, why does it seem like, everyone in the NFT space are connected to their inner child? Because they're just so in joy and they're playing and they're having so much fun. And then maybe it was Artsy, he wrote it. And then the answer was because we all were raised in societies where it said you can't make money as an artist and or, get a job, work to pay your bills. So something like that in a nutshell. I'm fragmenting it, but I just thought that was kind of like really interesting to read, see, and hear, knowing that, not everyone, but most people, right? Unless you have parents who are artists or an aunt or an uncle or something like that who give you permission to be an artist first and foremost. Speaking of artists, I have amazing NFT artists on the podcast this season from Colombia, from the Philippines. I have an art advisor on who lives in New York City. I have so many great guests for you. The lineup is really awesome. We're going to be learning about NFTs. I would never ever think I would be a person who would be saying this, but none of it is financial advice at all. It's just educational, sharing stories, my experiences, my guests' experiences, their journeys of how they got involved or what interests them, or how, Web 2 and their upbringing has, been a baseline for them to pivot into Web 3, the blockchain, NFTs. I have people on who are creating DAOs, who are part of, different platforms. And so she's really all over the place with, all the different areas in the blockchain. And literally, like, anyone can be a part of the blockchain. There's this one woman that I really know, and I want her on the podcast. And she's in healthcare, and she's bringing healthcare to the blockchain. I mean, how cool is that, right? Yeah, obviously, there's music NFTs, really popular, animation artists, 2D artists, and photography. I have some really cool announcements coming up, so I'm not going to spill them here. You'll hear very, very soon. Yeah, reach out to me, connect, let's collaborate. Oh, a special shout out to IMD. You have to go to IMD Beauty Spa. They're in New York and Los Angeles. It's a lymphatic drainage massage. I go often. I've been going for years. It's so good. They have infrared saunas. You go in for like 15 to 20 minutes. It heats you from the inside, your organs. It's so healing. And then, you have a massage, and they take rolling pins and they massage you. and then you drain all the toxins out of your body and you drink a lot of water. Let me just tell you right now, the day you do it, the night you do it, do not drink alcohol. You'll feel so sick. I'm not a big drinker, but I accidentally had red wine one time, and it was a nightmare because you're literally like draining all of your toxins outside of your body, and then when they're clear, you're just filling it up with alcohol. So not a good thing, but just definitely go there. Irene is amazing. She's the owner. They're from Brazil. Her son, Bruno, they're amazing. Say She's All Over the Place sent you there, and definitely check out IMD Beauty Spa and definitely look up their website. It'll be in the show notes so you can read more about it. Cool. So circling back around on the topic of women, I find that a lot of female identifying people have felt very isolated. They feel like they can't speak their voice, that their voices are silent. They'll go to speak and they can't speak up. People will try and tell them how they're feeling or deny their feeling when they say, oh, this and this and this occurred. And the person's like, oh, no, that didn't happen. Or no, it's not that. And so this space is a very safe space to be able to share emotions, no matter, and thoughts, no matter how it comes out and how it looks, because by being open, communicating, and being vulnerable shapeshifts us from being isolated. And even if it comes out messy and it's not the quote unquote right thing, it's another step closer to find what's beneath what we're saying, or it's an exploration, to get to the gold of and to the heart and center of what we want to fully express. By communicating more and more and sharing, it's super, super important. And it's a way for us to come together. I was on this podcast called Grieving Voices, and she has, Victoria, she has an episode on the 6 Myths of Grieving. I love it. I would definitely check it out. And one of the myths is suffering alone and grieving alone. Go to your room. You're crying, you go to your room. No, you can cry with somebody, right? You don't have to cry alone. But at a young age, we're taught to go to your room, or you're grounded, or people are taught to go hide themselves, stuff themselves into a pillow and cry it all out. And we feel so alone. But we don't need to be alone when we're crying. It's okay to cry with one another. And it's great to cry. I love crying. Crying is so soothing. I love when it rains. I just feel my soul become so much more alive. And I love crying, and it's so important and it's so beautiful. It's not a weakness. It's actually a strength. I'm sure you've seen Brene Brown, but Brene Brown, if you have not seen her TED Talks on vulnerability and another one on courage, I implore you to definitely check those out. Tune into those on YouTube. Also, she has a documentary on Netflix that you can watch. Cool. I'm going to wrap this up. Just a special shout out to my NFT community. I love you so much. I'm so excited to have a bunch of people on the podcast. Follow me on Twitter. My handle is Katie Chonacas. I just started being active on it recently. It was a TSP Instagram, but it was never used. So I just changed the handle to Katie Chonacas. For my actor, I go by Katie Chonacas. For those of you who are new to who I am, most people say this, I guess, in the beginning, and I'm like doing things at the end here. But anyhow, I was born with 2 names. Katie Chonacas, right? My baptismal name is Kyriaki, the Saint Kyriaki. So I identify as Katie Chonacas and Saint Kyriaki. I always have. Growing up, everyone called me Kiki. Also growing up, my mom didn't want people making fun of me, in my name. So they named me Katie. So in school, it would just be like, Katie. And I love the name Katie. It's awesome. For acting, I go by Katie Chonacas. In voiceovers, I go by Katie Chonacas. In voiceovers, we brand ourselves, so I go by Cartoon Katie because I'm a walking, talking cartoon, I've been told through the years. And then, Kyriaki is my heart and my soul. And, with modeling growing up, and now my, artist name streaming everywhere, I'm just going by my birth name, Saint Kyriaki. But the handles are going to be below, but I'm on Instagram, Chonacas. Reach out, let me know what you think. So my podcast is She's All Over the Place, and I was thinking about enhancing the name to She's NFT All Over the Place. What do you think? I think it's awesome, but I don't know. But let me know what you think. Send me a DM on the Instagram. I am on TikTok. My account right now is Chonacas. However, I guess shadow banned is a thing. I don't know. Someone told me like, hey, you should be getting like way more blah, blah, blah. And I was trying to be consistent on it for 5 months straight. But anyway, they're like, oh, maybe you just need to start a whole new account. So I'm like, oh gosh, start a whole new account. That's like a lot. You know, for me it is because, anyways, we won't go there right now. So stay tuned. I'm really excited for the season ahead. I'm so excited for you to be here. Please write a review. Please repost this on Twitter and Facebook and everywhere else you want to share it, wherever you are on social media. Did I say leave a podcast review? That would really mean a lot. I guess it's like a really big deal when you leave reviews on the podcast thing. So let me know what you think. And then raw and real, it's all good. Yeah, right now we're going to play, I'll probably, I don't know, we'll see. I'm going to put a song or two for you from my album Dreamland 1111. And then the links will be in the show note, like I said. Pick up my book, A Lover's Fairytale. And also we have merch for A Lover's Fairytale and we have merch for the album as well. So definitely support me. I appreciate you. I love you. Happy 2022. I'm going to keep showing up for you. Okay? All right. Over and out. Peace.
Take it
Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time. Kitty over and out.